Now let's go through another weather chart, and this one very aptly fits that old expression, one picture is worth 1,000 words. And the chart we're going to go through is the radar summary chart. Now, the radar summary chart is really a graphical presentation of the data from radar weather reports that they collect all over the country. And as you know, precipitation reflects radar pulses and creates a return on the scope. And the strength of that radar echo is based on drop size and intensity. If you have more drops and larger drops, it means a stronger return. Now, let me ask you a question. Where are you going to get the strongest radar echoes? You got it, from thunderstorms. So with radar, you can chart lines and cells of hazardous thunderstorms. Now what you can do is you can take this radar summary chart and put it right alongside a weather depiction chart. Now if you remember, that weather depiction chart is the one that tells you IFR, marginal VFR, and VFR weather at a glance. Now the problem with the weather depiction chart is you know that you have areas of IFR or say marginal VFR weather, but you don't know what's going on inside that area. You don't know what's causing the weather. Well, the radar summary chart now can tell you with its X-ray vision what's going on inside those areas, because it gives you a view of precipitation intensity, the tops and bases, and the movement of precipitation. In a sense, what it does, it gives you a three-dimensional look at what's happening in regard to the weather. Now, one thing the radar summary chart cannot show you, and that is clouds, because water vapor alone does not reflect radar energy. So when radar does give you an echo or return, you know at the very minimum that it's raining. Now let's take a look at another radar summary chart, and we're going to talk about how to read this very valuable chart. Now the first thing you'll notice, if you're observant at all, is that there are contour lines. And the more contour lines you have, the stronger the echo returns. And you can have up to 3 contour lines. Now the first contour line shows weak to moderate returns, and the second contour line shows strong to very strong returns, and if you get to the third contour line, now you have intense to extreme returns. Okay, let's take a look at arrow A. You'll see now at arrow A you're inside the 1, 2 second contour line, which means you have strong to very strong echoes. On the other hand, at arrow B right here, you're only inside 1 contour line, and that means you have weak to moderate returns. By the way, if you look right next to B, you see TRW and RW+, and that means that they're having thunderstorms, as TRW, and rain showers, RW, and the plus means the rain showers are of increasing intensity. Had there been a minus sign there instead, that would mean that they were decreasing in intensity. You know, one thing about thunderstorms is they don't play fair. Just when you haven't figured out where a thunderstorm is located and how big it is, well, they tend to move. Well, as a pilot, it would really be handy to know which way a thunderstorm is moving and how fast. And that is exactly the kind of information you can get from a radar summary chart. Here we have a general area of echoes or returns that is moving to the east, because the arrow is pointing to the east, at a full feather is 10 knots, a half feather is 5 knots, 15 knots. Here we have a general area of echoes or returns then moving to the east at 15 knots. Now that's how they show the movement of a general area of echoes or returns. How about the movement of an individual cell? Well, when it's an individual cell, they show it differently. What they do is they show an arrow without the feathers. So here we have no feathers at all, so that way you know it's a cell moving. Well, because they don't have feathers, they have to tell you how fast it's moving. It's moving to the northeast at 20 knots. So that is how they show the movement of an individual cell. Now, many radars also have the ability to measure echo height, so they can not only tell you the size and intensity of a storm, but they can also tell you the bases and tops. Here we have the tops of the storm are at, add 2 zeros to this, 30,000 feet. Now, notice in this case they don't show the bases. If they did show the bases, they'd have a number here underneath the line. Often you'll see that they don't show the bases, and the reason for that is rain, as a general rule, falls all the way down to the ground. So in this particular case, because no bases are shown, we can assume that the rain is falling all the way down to the ground. Now, sometimes the Weather Service posts severe weather watch areas with severe thunderstorms, or maybe tornadoes are occurring or are expected to occur. And we have a case in point just like this. By the way, most pilots take it upon themselves to get very familiar with how these are shown on the chart because it's nowhere that they want to fly. So this is a severe weather watch area. It's shown on the radar summary chart as a rectangle, and it's shown with these dashed lines like so. Now, inside the severe weather watch area, in this particular case, you find thunderstorms, TRW. They're increasing in intensity, and the tops are 46,000 feet. You'll notice also that you have hail in this case because it says H-A-I-L. Isn't that clever how they did that? And you'll also find in this particular case a line of thunderstorms. It's this heavy black line going from the southwest to the northeast, and it shows severe thunderstorms in a line. Now, since this line is inside the third contour line, you know it contains intense to extreme precipitation. So let's hope that the only people you'll see flying around here are Dorothy and probably her house and maybe Toto too. And now with the radar summary chart, you have one more piece to fit into the aviation weather report puzzle, and you can use this radar summary chart in conjunction with the weather depiction chart to avoid areas of severe weather. And now you can promise yourself and your passengers a comfortable and stress-free trip.